Hello, and welcome back. My name is Jack Blade, and this is my YouTube channel. We're playing some Satisfactory today, and as you might imagine from last time, we are going to start with building more in the city, and we're actually starting to build the city, not the central spire. And what do we need more than anything else to run the city? Power! Which means we will be building our power plant. And we will be using coal power. We're still in phase 2. Okay, so we don't have access to fuel power, and that's the entire point. This entire city is meant to basically have like an ultimate redundancy for everything we unlock in phase 2, so that we can go smoothly into phase 3 and quickly progress and unlock things without having to spend a bunch of time and stuff, so we can just keep going with what we want to. And yeah, that means we will be building a lot of power. And I have basically set up a very nice introduction to that. So let's skip on over. But first, wow. When I say wow, I really mean it, because you guys crushed it. I am over 1,000 subscribers. I am fully monetized, and it's all thanks to you guys. It is completely breaking my brain. I can't, like, like, this happened on Wednesday, started Wednesday afternoon, some Wednesday, like, evening, something like that. I don't really remember exactly, or if it was Thursday morning. But what happened was, I essentially did that, and I got monetized, and it's now Saturday. I'm recording this episode, and I think it hit me now that, like, when I say, here's a pro tip, that's actually a pro tip. I'm actually being paid for this now. That is insane. YouTube is actually paying me for making videos. That is all thanks to you guys, and I will definitely make sure to use these resources to grow the channel, to have some awesome social events, and have really, really fun with you guys. And I really, really look forward to what the future will bring. And if you really want to help out, subscribe, like, comment, share. And if you want to go above and beyond, Patreon or a YouTube membership. Links down in the description. You have exclusive access to chats, you can vote on future content, and other cool stuff like that. I will rename doggos, and you will have a place in the Hall of Legends, there in the center. And other than that, I don't really know what to do other than just, like, try and continue making this video. So yeah, let's take me back now. Alright, so we're landing. Thank you for the ride. And boom. So, this is the long journey to the Clearhaven power plant. What are we doing? Yes, we are making 64 generators that will produce 4,800 megawatts. They will need 960 coal and 2,880 water to run at 100% efficiency. And we will also, and I know that some people don't like this, they don't care, they don't want to use this, but we will have 60 biomass burners. That needs 240 solid biofuel to run at 100% efficiency if we're using full capacity. And we will turn these things into solid biofuel. So we will have an input for these 4 that will be sorted using smart splitters. And then we will have leaves and we will have wood that will have an input each. And all of that will basically be tucked away, so we don't need to look at it, but it will be here. And there's like an aspect of environmental storytelling that I want to like bring into this. So that will produce 1,800 megawatts, meaning our fundamental power in Clearhaven will produce 6,600 megawatts. But over at the R&D facility, we will have an additional 4 power augmenters that by themselves provide 2,000 megawatts. And on top of that, because they're power augmenters, they give us a 40% boost. bringing the city power production to the 6,600, including the biomass burners, right? Plus 2,000, which is 8,600, times 1.4 for the 40% bonus, bringing us to a total production, maximum production in the city, of 12,040 megawatts, which is, in phase 2, insane amounts of power. And the point of that is that I want to have surplus power. The city will be using about 4,000 megawatts. Like, the power plant itself notwithstanding, it's the power this uses is its own, like, beast. But we will have about 4,000 megawatts being used by the processing and all production in the city. And we basically need a chunky power, like, production setup to handle all of that. And this is the point. So we will be going to town on this whole thing and turn this into a nice looking build that can provide us to start with 6,600 megawatts at full blast. So let's go. Starting out, we need a blueprint of the power generators themselves, the coal generators, or coal power generators. Supported fuel types, apparently none. Might be because it's in the blueprinter. But yeah, the entire point of this is essentially to have like 2 slices that I can connect with each other. So what I can do is I can take a coal generator and place, boom, and then, as you can see, there's a little overlap here with the signs when it starts shining. There we go. And then I just go bump, and as you can see, if I hold the, like, start the nudge, it is perfectly flush, like this. So you have the guts back here with power connection and stuff like that. But here, on the front, you will have a very, very nice, perfectly lit up, decorated coal power generator, which is very nice. And I just need to connect up the logistics. I have colored these black to represent the coal, and essentially I will do similar to what we do with the normal coal power generator setup, which is place them in rows of 8, and we will then have 8 of those sections, meaning we will get 64 generators total, 4,800 megawatts. And the point of all this is that I do want to have the like lighting and everything set up, because this takes a lot of time if you do all of it manually. So I want to have as much of it as possible blueprinted, so that I don't have to go and do it all manually, which makes it so much better for heavy detailed like builds. And that's why I've really went to town on this. Like, I probably spent like a solid hour and a half, 2 hours, like asking myself, do I really want this? Do I like this? Like, do I switch this around? Is this enough light? Do I like these? How are they going to look in the actual like facility once it's up and running? All that kind of stuff. So essentially, I just made sure to really be happy with this. And as you can see, like, the light is very nice. It very nicely frames here with the white lights. The blue lights are supposed to be kind of looking like almost like water tanks, like backlit water tanks, that I really like the look of. And then this up here will like provide some balance light to the blue, because otherwise the blue is going to be too intense during the night. So we will essentially just start setting this up, and we will see a little bit of how it looks like when we've gotten going. And by the way, before I switch over to the next clip, all of these blueprints, including these, will be in my Discord in a link to a Google Drive. That was a weird way of saying it, but it's in my Google Drive, linked in my Discord, in the SAT chat in the pin posts. So these are available along with the city planning and a lot of other blueprints. Like literally every other blueprint I have is available. So head on over if you want to try them out and pick them up. Alright, so we've started doing some layout testing with the blueprints. And as you can see, I kind of wanted this like staggered effect with the smokestacks. I really want the smokestacks to be visible from the outside with the smoke coming out of them and everything. Something that I did notice though, and I need to fix this. I've put out 32 generators so far. I kind of need to figure out how do I put out an additional what's it called? How do I put out an additional 32 here, like, and keep this staggered effect? And yeah, another thing that I've noticed is I am off. I am out of alignment, and that's a mistake on my part. I tried to be fast, I tried to be effective, and as a result, I rushed. And rushing makes mistakes, and I could leave it as is, but I'm not gonna. This is my mistake, I need to clean it up. So I'm gonna skip on over, because you don't need to see me going through and tearing it all down and everything, but yeah, let's go and clean up my mess. What I mean with it being off-center, by the way, is like this part here is like I have made the top part pretty much like aligned to this, which I shouldn't have. I should have aligned it to the bottom parts and then put in this stuff. But essentially what it has caused is that everything is pretty much, everything on the top half here is pretty much like, as you can see, like a quarter foundation offset to the right from where we're looking. And that's because I was basically not thinking when I was building, and there's a lot of stuff I haven't been thinking about when I was building. So I would pretty much like tear it all down, rebuild it all, which is very fast because I'm using blueprints. If I wasn't using blueprints, or it was pre-update, what is it, update 8 blueprints when we didn't have blueprint dismantle mode, I would have torn all my hair out. I would have hated myself for this. But now it's super simple, barely an inconvenience, as Ryan George would say, so I'm gonna go with that. Then let's see what it looks like once I've fixed it. Alright, so this time I'm measuring, like this is the middle of this thing. I have changed up a little bit here. All the stuff that I used to build are now in here. But essentially I've measured off and I've changed the foundation layout a little bit because I know exactly how big it's going to be. This is going to be good. I just need to remember to leave myself space on the back to bring in, because we need to bring in all the stuff from over here using a massive bus with a bunch of pipes and everything. I am thinking as well, I might be able to go further out to fit all 64. Because if we look, we are above this line with that foundation, and our logistics floor is going to be here with the catwalks going up and above as a walkway. So I don't, like, I'm gonna put the biomass stuff down here. But then basically, yeah, we'll see. I'm thinking about it. I'm gonna start with placing out the first like 32, and we'll see what I come up with once I'm done. All right, look at it. We're getting some mouse ears here. Don't sue me, Disney, please. Please? Please? Let's look at what we're doing inside. Basically, nothing is lit up properly in here. Well, all of this is lit up properly. But I've changed my mind on the number of generators, and you're thinking, oh god, thank you. Like, it's okay, you don't need 64 generators. No, but we need the effect of 64 generators. So I am going to basically do this with 32 generators, giving us twice the output, because overclocking power generators is linear. So it doesn't burn extra fuel or anything like that to be more, to have less with overclocking involved instead. And with the access to essentially infinite power shards, why wouldn't I? And it's space saving, it uses less machines, which is more performant for the game, and all of that kind of stuff, which means I have more space to use signs and stuff like that. Plus, now that we look around here, you can see I have actually put in some very nice lighting and walkways and glass and like all that kind of stuff. So we have some proper design in the place as well. And I will put in a bunch more detail, but essentially I wanted to make a very industrial feeling inside with like future feel to it with the lighting and stuff. So like futuristic, and then the outside, like the shape of the building itself, the walkways and all this kind of stuff. I kind of wanted to bring like modern factory, like modernistic architecture kind of style to the whole thing. So yeah, I've tried to mix those two and make this feel like its own thing. That is kind of the style and vibe that I kind of want to go with for this entire city. So yeah, and then I've basically I learned this trick from Bits, watching his marathon stream. So I basically just have two doors. No, not the wall. Can I get the door? Door, please. Thank you. And essentially, I put the door so that it opens. Let me just double check that it's right. Yeah. And then I nudge. So, well, lock it in place again. Nudge, and I nudge it over this half, right? And then I go to the other direction, and I nudge, over. And that way, once it starts clipping. Oh, I opened the wrong direction. My bad. There we go. No. I'm very good at this, I swear. And is that the thin end? That is the thin end. I've mucked it up again. Boom. There we go. And now if I nudge this one over, after a little bit of struggles, the door then turns out like this. Very, very nice use of nudge. I'm happy with it. You could do this before as well, it was just more work. So yeah, very, very nice. And basically, I will just take this and just go hard on it, and I will detail, and I will do the exterior first, and then I will see what I can do about the interior, but we'll see. And I will probably go and poke at this over and over again for the rest of the time we're building Clearhaven, but for now, I am very happy with this. So let's check back in the next clip. Alright, it's night. There's a reason for that. The exterior is largely done in terms of shape and first layer of details. There's going to be more details, going to be more noise and stuff. But essentially, let's take a tour. So, we got some lighting in here, we got some proper signage helping us find our ways. Alright. So, let's go through the main corridor, perfectly aligned with the planets there. And as you can see, we have some very nice lighting, very cozy. What is it they say? What is it the kids say? Very mindful, very demure. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this, and I really like these like sectioning off here in the middle as well. I'm not necessarily a fan of the stairs or the ramps having this. I would love to have a like stair that has the same kind of effect as this with the T-walk junction, so that you can remove, so you can have like a wide ramp up, and then you can start having these in the middle if you want to. Yeah. And then back here is essentially just maintenance area. I need to light this up also at some point, but I don't have the energy to do that right now. I've also realized I need to remove this because there's just the input for the coal, so that gotta go. But generally, if we go up here, you can see I have made the outside. This side, its detailing will essentially be the logistics for the input. So if we then look at this, we have the same thing here. Lighting is very nice. I am a big fan of how the balancing happens between the white, yellow, and blue. It kind of gives a proper, like, it is lit up, but it is not necessarily like screaming in your face with one of the specific colors, which I really like. I decided to go for a clearly blue like base color for all of my pipelines, so it's blue and black, and I really like it. So this is what it's turned out to be for the entire thing, and I really enjoy the parking lot outside as well, where I've just placed these vehicles. Like, they're not going to be used for anything, they're just decorative, but I really enjoy having them there, and if I do really need one, I can just grab the Explorer and like put in some fuel and drive away with it. And then later, when we unlock the trucks, I'm going to put one of the big trucks on this one. So yeah, I am very much looking forward to how we will develop this a little bit later. And aside from this, if we take a walk downstairs, yeah, it's pretty much symmetrical, so it looks the same on both sides here. But if we go down, you will see that downstairs it is a little bit different. We haven't put in the biomass yet, but if we go, you saw those three down there. Essentially, this is how we will sort things. So all of the remains that I want to turn into solid biofuel, they go in here. And all of the wood goes in here, and all of the leaves go in here, and like, I don't have to go down in the basement. That's where the environmental storytelling comes in. Where when this was built, so to speak, if we look at like historically, in this world, in my world, this building was built with power generation in mind, and when we did, the only thing we had access to starting out was biomass burners. But we also knew that we would find raw resources down, like on the planet, to develop like fossil fuel burned. And as a result, we pre-planned and pretty much took what we considered the obsolete power generation method, and we shoved that in the basement and pre-prepped a state-of-the-art coal burning power plant up top. So basically, the reason why everything is in the basement, and that's going to be a little bit messy, is because that is a redundancy system. It's obsolete and it only kicks in if the coal power fails for any reason. Essentially, a redundancy system. It's safety. And for those who work with engineering, for those who work with anything like that, you know, or electricity, or like heating, power, water, whatever you want to call it. You guys, you've been in basements with old ass crap, like fuel generators. You've been there with like the old boilers. You've seen these redundancy systems in like large older buildings, and that's essentially what I'm thinking here as well. And I kind of want to bring that in, so I have gone very hard on that. Let's move on to the next set of this, which is going to be biomass, and also I want batteries. Oh, I've missed a detail there. I need to fix that. But I want batteries on the top here and here. Essentially as a capstone thing, like visually, to break up the shape a little bit and to increase the height of the building a little bit. So I have a better skyline to look at. So let's skip on over to when I've done that, and I will go through the systems with you. There we go. So we have even more exterior detailing. We have power towers unlocked, because power towers unlock so we get the batteries. They are part of the same unlock. So basically, I've also put in now. Oh, there's a hole in the floor here. Let's not have a hole in the floor here. Basically, now this Clearhaven power plant has its own thing. And as you can see, there is max consumption. That is because of what is going on in the basement. So essentially, I have made sure that the Clearhaven power, this is towards the output. So all power routes into this tower, and this is the output towards the world. So if I need to run it for a long distance, I'm using the top, and for the local power, I just run it straight down, and I will later connect that up here in the guts of the city. So let's skip on over, or not skip on over, but let's check out the biomass section. As you can see, there's more lighting here now, there's more detailing, and like this has been going on constantly. I've been constantly like iterating and putting in more and more stuff. But yeah, as you can see, I've changed up, this has expanded. I wanted to, like I was looking at that constantly, like I want to change up the shape of this factory, and I want to make more of the slums part of the city, where the slums part is like in there, where you have the guts of the city, and then you have all of the miners and all the tractors driving down on the ground. That is because of like in terms of like storytelling, that is like the guts of the city. That is like the slums. No one cares about it. No one cares. But let's start with looking at what we have down here. So, as we said before, all of the leaves come in from this. All of the wood come in here, and all of the animal remains come in here. What I have done is I've taken all the leaves, they split up. 270 can move, which means that I can put 120 here, 120 here, then I'm at 240, so I can't run more leaves from a single line. So I took that, and then essentially makes 120 total, so it makes 60 per minute. That's not a large amount, I don't care, because I'm just running this straight into a dimensional depot. With the express purpose of, like, this is what's going to be going into my dimensional depot, so I can use it personally for like driving around vehicles or fueling the rum or anything to that effect. Then the animal DNA or animal remains, essentially, because that has a tendency to back up, I've put in a sorting system here that uses smart splitters, so I only have one input, but it sorts into 4 containers, one for each, so you can see any undefined. So, like we talked about before, any undefined, and I think this is in like episode 3 or episode 4, basically, any undefined, if something is defined to the right, as it is here, it will go to the right. Anything I have not defined will continue forwards. And then I have defined here, but any undefined will continue forwards, essentially filtering out all the hog remains, then all the hatcher, and then here all the spitter, and then finally all the stinger remains, the spiders go in here. And on the next line here, I have then made it so that it makes the alien protein, one of each from the hogs, from the hatchers, from the spitters, and from the stingers, which is then merged on one Mark III belt, since we have alien protein, 20, 20, 20, that's 80 total. And over here, I have a smart splitter that overflows into storage and into dimensional depot. So I can take that out if need be, and I can put that into making more DNA capsules and stuff like that if I need to, if this is saturated. Like, I'm going to go on, like, murder sprees on stream, like, down the line and find summer sloops and mercer spheres. I bet I will kill thousands of creatures again and bring that back. Either way, what I've made it here is downclocked to 240 per constructor. That then goes over and splits and sends in 120 into each. So you have the solid biofuel coming out here from each is 120, that's 240, 360, 480. And they go into their own containers over here. And then is sent out and split one line for 6 biomass burners each. And they are also overclocked, so I don't have to place down 60 of them, I can place down 30 of them. And that means that I've placed down 30, but they have the efficiency of 60. And down the line over here, this is the wood. The wood is the most, like, efficient, technically, based on the belts. Like, if I have a Mark 6 belt, then the remains are going to be the most effective. But right now, because I have wood, it's going to be the most efficient with Mark III belts, because I can basically take, and I split the line of 270 technically, but I'm counting as 240. 240 goes in here, splits 120 there, 120 there. And down here, you have 60 coming in, making 300 per minute, which is more than we can handle. And then another 60 makes more than we can handle over here. And then over here, and then over here. Then that goes in, because we get 240, right? Same thing here. We make solid biofuel in all of these. And I essentially send all of that over here into two containers for 480 total, 240 each. And that is then sent in. I'm merging that over here so that I actually use it evenly. But I'm basically sending that in for the last line here. That's how I am basically setting up all of the, what's it called, biomass burners here, providing us with a very neat capacity for 1,800 megawatts, which is very, very nice. And now, with that said, we can go check the batteries up top. I don't think... No, for this save, I have not actually put in... There's gonna be ladders here later, in a later clip. But, as you can see, batteries, they are, first of all, love this, they are daisy chainable. I very much enjoy that. But I basically take them down into here, and I have placed in a specific priority power switch over here so that I can control the batteries, because I don't always want them to be on, I don't always want them to charge, like I want to have control over them. So all battery sections I will ever put down will have their own priority power switch separating them from the power grid. Essentially, I have, what is it? I haven't even counted how many there are here. There are 30 total, so it's 15 per line, 2 lines. That's 3,000 megawatt hours, meaning I can either run 1 megawatt for 3,000 hours or 3,000 megawatts for 1 hour. Meaning if something happens and power goes down, I have not only the biomass burners, I also have an hour of those for 3,000 megawatts. Then that goes up and down depending on the actual power usage in the city. If it's lower, I'm going to have more than an hour. If it's more, I'm going to have less than an hour. Essentially, that's how the batteries work. And they are great to have around, so you can very, very easily look at, like, if something happens, if you make a mistake or something goes unbalanced or you accidentally delete a line or connect a splitter somewhere you shouldn't, then the batteries can kick in while you're fixing the nuclear power plant or the pipes for the fuel or whatever might have happened. Batteries are a great backup, and even better, they make sure that you have a stable power input into your network or your power network when you're using stuff like particle accelerators and converters and stuff like that late game and end game. So they are really, really good and really, really important, especially later down the line. So with that said, we have everything we need from the actual insides here. As you see, we have done a lot with this. I also put in more light down here. Like if we go over here, I've put in light over here to make sure that we don't have a bunch of dark sections. I mean, I want this to be dark. I want it to, like, it's being lit up a little bit by these, but I kind of want it to be dark so that it gives more of like a depth with the lighting as an effect rather than just color. So, or color and shape. So if we go down here, you can see the same thing. I haven't put in light here yet, but it is definitely something I will do later, and I haven't fixed this yet. Need to fix that. But yeah, I'm now going to start building the bus. I fell off and died again, so yeah. I have built the bus. It is not completely finished, there's still a lot of work left, but you can definitely see where I'm going with it. And I put in the logistics, I have put in the belts, I have put in the pipes. As you can see, there are a lot of pipes. There's 12 pipes. I made the blueprint with 10. For this project, I needed 12. My bad. Essentially, if you've been building along, I started out planning for 10 pipes, and then I went to bed thinking like, oh my god, I'm gonna need to figure out how to balance 10 pipes. It's gonna bring all the water I need, but I need to balance 10 pipes so that I have an even distribution between 4 sections and stuff like that. You can see the headache that causes. So I basically went, hey, why do I do that? Why not just bring in 2 more pipes so that I can have just exactly the same setup as I would with your standard beginner's setup for like coal. I just overclock the water extractors the same way I did everything else. Like double the amount. So that I have done. So now it looks like this. So you have the same thing where you have the side, the middle, and the end, just like you had with a beginner setup. Right? The only thing that makes this more complicated is that I'm now moving a bunch of water over a large distance, and I'm using overclocking. Otherwise, this is the same kind of system, which means that it should work at 100% efficiency without me having to bring in like excessive amounts. And yeah, here's where the connection for the batteries is. I don't need to have this like centralized or clearly visible. I can take this and place anywhere in the world and just open it up, go to circuit break priority, and still have access to literally everything. So I don't really care where they are, as long as it's like aesthetic. Like this looks good enough, I'm happy with it. And then I move on. Essentially, the bus is ready. We're going to go out and we're going to take a close look at it. I just wanted to show some of the pipework here on the inside. And I kind of like how it breaks up and frames at the same time the like the other machines and the pipes input and everything. So I really enjoy this. I am really happy with it. And same thing here. Let's go out. And as you can see, I brought in all the coal is gonna come in here. The coal's gonna come in here. Over here, coal's gonna come in here. And I have done this. So it is staggered, it looks supported, and I really like it. I enjoy this immensely, and the bus makes me very happy. And I opened up here first thinking like, okay, should I bring in some of this underneath? But no, I decided not to, so I'm gonna close that off later when I'm done. But essentially, I now have this is the exterior for the back, meaning it's noisy. It looks alive. Things here are going to be moving. I really like it. And with that, I kind of put in this. These are part of the blueprints that I have on the drive. Same thing with the bus, minus those 2 extra pipes. They are not part of the blueprint, as you can see. They are excluded if I go into the dismantling. So if you're doing this, you're going to have to put in those 2 extra pipes as well. And essentially, this goes along here. I've basically made sure that it's supported on every other. I just removed the starting support from every other and went along. I placed like temporary foundations and made this. I really like the look of it, so I'm gonna keep it this way. And then I moved along here and moved up a little bit. Boom. So that I got a nice, like, this is a lock-off point, essentially, that where I'm trying to make it so that water will have a lower tendency to start, like, sloshing and backflowing. I don't want any backflow in the pipes. And having, like, a lower point somewhere in this makes that a little bit easier. So I decided to do that instead of, like, raising the whole thing up. And go straight out. I also like that there is like some height difference. It adds a little bit of detail and like visual to it. And then you can see we have even more supports here. And now we are over here, but the bus itself hasn't been, like, it's not being used because we have our old. This is the beginner setup, and as you can see, it's the same thing here. We have the middle, we have the sides, and we have the, like, exact same kind of input. Well, the only difference now is each only produces 75. It's not overclocked and everything. Like, I could technically literally just overclock all of these and like overclock all of that and make it 4 lines coming in with 240 each instead and split that up and like make them go in here. But I don't want that. Clearhaven is not over here. Clearhaven is over there. So I am going to tear all of this down and we will get to building. Which means all of this needs to go. So beginner coal, let's go. Bye-bye. Yeah, I really like this. So now I have basically used some sunken foundations to create this that goes along the entire section here. And then you have this spaghetti. It is a right angle spaghetti, but it is a spaghetti. And because we only have the Mark 1 pumps, we have had to use pumps all over the place. And like, I don't realize this now, but there's going to be some fixes I need to do later. And I've put in a nice aligned foundation here. Thank you, Railing Gaming, for teaching me how to do this. And essentially gone over here, and I have overclocked all of these Mark II miners so that they give me an output of 240. And I'm bringing that along. That's going to go along the bus as well. With that said, we need to do some more stuff. Namely, we need to sever a couple of coal lines over here so that they can't go into the generators. Because remember when we started the beginner coal power plant, we need the water to saturate first, and then we can plug in the coal. If we don't, it's going to be hell getting them to run stable. So, water first, saturate all the machines, all the pipes, completely full. Then, and only then, do we plug in the coal. So I have severed them over here, but we still have some stuff to do. I literally just spoke into the microphone for like 2 minutes, explaining what we were supposed to do and why I'm over here. And then I realized I didn't press record. So basically we're over here to pick up some fuel, some leaves, some wood, and some remains and stuff like that, so that I can kickstart the, what's it called? I need to bring these, and so I can kickstart the biomass burners, because we need to do troubleshooting. And for those who have played any amount of Satisfactory or any amount of Satisfactory with me, you know that you will not be able to do troubleshooting unless power is running. So we will basically grab all of the alien protein and stuff like that, and we will head on over and we will kickstart our biomass setup. So to do that, let's check in here, where I basically take the leaves go in here, right? So I just put them in, and that will handle itself. You can see, like, I've already put in some leaves, so it's not gonna move a lot. Same thing here, I'm gonna do this. It's gonna start, doesn't even take the wood, because that's also full apparently. But I can't put this in here because this only handles remains. So what I will do is I will go down and manually, as you can see, some, like, the wood and the leaves are already in here. They're already doing their thing. But I'm going to need to go over here and manually place in the remains, or the protein, like so, to make sure that there is fuel here to keep producing biomass or solid biofuel once we have kickstarted it using the biomass. And kickstarting it, we do by putting in this here. Boom. I may not have brought enough. Oh yeah, I did. There's more up there. I just didn't sort my inventory. There we go. And then over here, I can go and place one here and then one here. This will always happen, and it's because the biomass hasn't saturated all the machines, so I will literally just wait for them to saturate, and I'll be right back. Alright, perfect. So I have just flipped the fuses back on and everything seems to be running. Oh yeah. In this clip I forgot to put this in here, so you aren't running. But everything else seems to be running, which is really good. All of these have some amount of solid biofuel, so they can run for a little bit. And essentially, what this enables us to do now, because this is hooked up to the water, right? So what I can do now is just go back and start looking at which, like, does my water stop anywhere? Do I have any blockages? Have I forgotten to connect anything up? Like, all of that kind of stuff. Essentially, let's check it out. Alright, so there are multiple big misses I have made. Number one, I have left pipeline floor holes. That can cause issues by itself. But I also haven't replaced the pipes after having put in all the pumps. Big no-no. Can also cause a lot of problems. So I don't have water flowing the way it should. I also haven't connected this up. So yeah, I have some stuff to do. There. Everything is fixed. Everything is running. No problems anymore. I've basically replaced all the pipes and fixed a bunch of stuff with the pumps and some head lift problems as well. I had to put in more pumps. I really don't like not having the tier 2 or Mark 2 pumps, but you do what you do. So now all we need to do to make this run is plug in the coal. That's the final bit. If we get the coal in, this runs. So let's do this. I basically grab, and I pull in, and I grab, and I pull in, and I grab, and I pull in. Boom. And now that these start running, there is an additional level of troubleshooting, because now I get to look at, like, hey, is there any problems with the water going into the machines? Is there any problem with the coal going into the machines? And all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, we got some stuff to look at. So let's go in and check. After some troubleshooting, I found a couple of connections that weren't hooked up properly and stuff like that. And I have turned on so the batteries are charging. They will take an hour to charge, and then we will have full power. But yeah, we have 4,800 in production, which means all of the coal generators are running, and they are running stable. We have the water coming in. Essentially, what we do need now is to actually hook this into Clearhaven and make sure that we can use this power, our very clean coal power, where no dinosaurs were harmed in the making of this coal power. We basically need to switch over the connection. And basically, I'm in the wrong place. I need to go down into the basement to fix that. Because we're going into the guts of the city. The underground. Black market. No, but essentially, in here, you can see over here, I will basically put in a connection over here with a priority power switch that is like the main fuse for the city. So we want to flip that, and I'm gonna mess around with that a little bit, see if I can make it look somewhat good, but essentially I'll be right back. Couldn't really make it look good, so this is what it looks like. Essentially that one goes up to the power tower up top that is connected to... Oh, hi Bean, can I go? Yeah. I'll just bounce. Yeah. But yeah, essentially now that this is all hooked in, I just need to get out here. I jumped a little bit too far. Creature be clipping. Why you be clipping? I'll put that in later. I don't have time to deal with a bean. And I want to go up here and show. So that connection is this line here. And then if we go in here now and look at the circuit break priority, batteries are on. Oh yeah, I haven't named that yet. But essentially that one goes here. That is going to be the Clearhaven main fuse. And if I turn this on, boom, you can see that we can now see what is happening on this side of things, where the biomass burners in the starter facility is doing their thing, and this is the powered generation. So if I now switch this on, you will see that the two of them merge. Boom. So now you have them running on one line. 4,800 megawatts of stable production, and then you have the 7,950 total capacity. That's because the old setup over there isn't taken down yet, and I don't have any like rush. Like it's not super like important to do that right now. It needs to be done later, but right now it's fine. So with that said, we will now take a nice end of the episode look at the facility. So with that final showcase, we are ending the episode. I'm really happy you guys have been here and love you guys for all the support and 1,000 subscribers and everything. Remember that if you want to support, links are down in the description. Then subscribe, like, share, all the good stuff. For now, I am signing off, and I will see you guys in the next video. There's also been a lot of schedule changes, so keep that in mind. I've made a post on that. You can find on my community tab here on YouTube, or you can find the announcement in Discord. Essentially, I will only be releasing one of these videos every week, and instead make 2 tips and tricks videos. And that has to do with the time spent. It takes 20 hours per video to make one of these. So, with that said, I need to be more effective with my time. And that is partly for my sake and partly for your sake. I want to make sure that I release high quality videos, and I can't do that if I burn myself out. So I'm taking care of myself so that I can take care of you guys. With that said, I will see you guys in the next episode. Have a really good one, everyone. Bye!